Thousands of foreigners fall in love with amazing Filipinas every year. The romance is real, the passion is deep, but there's one decision that could change everything about your future together. Where should you marry her? In the sunny islands of the Philippines, or fly her back to your home country and tie the knot there? What seems like a simple choice could shape your retirement, finances, legal rights, and even how easy or painful it will be if things go wrong. Today, we're diving into the emotional, legal, financial, and personal side of this life-changing decision. Stay until the end, because the last chapter is something most men only discover when it's too late. Let me introduce you to Paul, a retired Canadian in his 50s who met Liza, a 32-year-old Filipina teacher, on Facebook. They chatted for months, and after one visit to Cebu, he was hooked. He thought, why not marry her in her home country, in front of her family, in a beach wedding? It felt romantic, traditional, and cheap. But 5 years later, Paul found himself fighting a legal nightmare, not because of love, but because he didn't know how Philippine marriage law works. This isn't just about logistics. It's about love, family, and building a life together. Whether you're American, European, or anywhere else, this decision is huge. Let's start with why it matters and what's at stake. Legal foundations. What's the difference? This chapter compares Philippine and foreign marriage laws. In the Philippines, no divorce, only annulment or legal separation. Must be 18 plus, parental consent needed under 21. Church weddings are legally binding. CENOR requirement. Court backlogs and expensive annulments, 150,000 to 250,000 pesos or more. In the foreign country, example USA, UK, Australia, civil marriage with easier divorce processes. Legal protection for property and spousal rights. Marriage grants immigration benefits. Philippine marriage laws, the beautiful trap. If you marry in the Philippines, you're marrying under Philippine law. Here's what that means. There is no legal divorce in the Philippines. Annulment is long, expensive, and emotionally brutal. You can be financially stuck in a dead marriage for life. Even if you go back home, your home country might recognize the marriage, but not the separation. Foreigners often say, we'll just get divorced later if it doesn't work. Not so fast. In the Philippines, you can't just walk away. If a foreigner marries here and things go south, he often ends up in limbo, still legally married, can't remarry, and sometimes losing assets or access to property. Marrying in your home country, the paper shield. Now let's flip the script. What happens if you marry her in the US, Australia, the UK, or Canada? Divorce is legal and accessible. You can protect your assets through prenups. Courts often favor joint ownership but give you due process. Immigration can be more streamlined if you're already legally married abroad. But there's a catch. You'll likely have to sponsor her immigration, and that can carry financial liability. So you're legally safer but financially exposed in different ways. Wedding costs, island romance, or Western bureaucracy. Let's start with marrying in the Philippines. It's a dream, tropical vibes, affordable venues, and a culture that loves celebrations. But what does it really take? In the Philippines, you can have a beautiful, traditional wedding for $5,000 or less, with family, lechon, and a beach sunset. In the US, UK, or Australia, expect to pay $10,000 to $30,000 just for a basic ceremony. But remember, cost is short-term. Legal reality is long-term. The cultural pressure. Whose wedding is it anyway? Filipino weddings often involve the entire clan, even if you're paying. Pressure to have godparents, ninongs, and large receptions. Family influence post-wedding. Parents may feel entitled to decide where the couple lives. The vibe is festive, with karaoke and lechon. It's affordable, but can feel chaotic if you're not used to big crowds. Your Filipinas family will feel at home, strengthening bonds. In contrast, Western weddings are usually couple-centered. In your home country, weddings are often smaller, under 50 guests. Traditions like the first dance or cake cutting feel familiar, but Filipino guests may feel out of place. Plus, visas and travel costs limit how many can attend. A path to citizenship, or a trap. Marrying in the foreigner's country often opens doors to residency, work, and dual citizenship. In the Philippines, a foreigner is still a tourist unless applying for a 13A marriage visa. But Philippine marriage visa is vulnerable if the relationship breaks down.
What if the relationship breaks down? Most men don't plan for failure, but life happens. If you marry in the Philippines, you can't remarry. You're legally stuck unless you pay for annulment. Your assets could be frozen. You could still be financially responsible for her. You can't move on. You may lose property under her name. You may lose face in her community. If you marry in your country, you can separate cleanly. You may pay alimony, but your rights are protected. You're not legally stuck forever. Powerful example. Jim, an American, married in Quezon. After catching his wife cheating, he tried to leave, but she filed a barangay complaint for emotional abuse, and he was detained for 48 hours. No divorce means his only option is to pay for annulment, and she wants 300,000 pesos to agree. Legal loopholes and how to protect yourself. Some men try to be clever. Here are real strategies used by seasoned expats. Civil marriage in your country only. Prenuptial agreements before marriage. Marriage under foreign law, even if the ceremony is in the Philippines. Keep property titles separate. Always consult a lawyer. It might save your retirement. Retirement and residency planning. Now let's talk about the long term. If you plan to retire in the Philippines, a Filipina spouse makes visa and land ownership easier. But if you separate, you may lose access to both. If you marry in your country, you may have stronger legal backing but weaker residency options if she's not a citizen. There's no one-size-fits-all. It depends on where you'll build your life together. How the law views your children. If you marry in the Philippines but raise kids abroad, you'll need dual recognition. Marriage in your country simplifies child passport registration. Philippine law favors the mother in custody battles unless the child is abroad. Can you bring your kids abroad if the marriage fails? Answer: depends on where you were legally married. Health, retirement, and end-of-life planning. If you're older, your retirement planning is crucial. Marriage in your home country may grant her rights to your pension or Social Security. In the Philippines, health care, systems, living wills, and inheritance are complicated by unclear legal status. Important insight. Marrying in your country gives her access to medical systems, spousal benefits, and emergency decision rights. In the Philippines, your wife may struggle to even get your death certificate issued without a messy legal fight. What expats regret most? Voices from the community. Regrets about marrying too fast, not understanding Philippine legal limitations, lack of post-divorce protection, visa complications, family manipulation. The final checklist. Ask yourself this before you say, "I do." Before you decide, ask yourself, where will we live long-term? What are the laws of each country? Can I afford to separate if it comes to that? What's more important, tradition, convenience, or legal protection? This isn't just about a wedding. It's about your future, your freedom, and your financial life. Here's the twist that changed everything. It's not just about the wedding day. Where you marry impacts your future, visas, residency, and family ties. Marrying in the Philippines can simplify your Filipina's stay there, but moving abroad later means new visa hurdles. Marrying in your home country can fast-track her residency, but at a higher cost and emotional toll. Key factors. 1. Budget. Philippines is cheaper, but foreign weddings offer familiarity. 2. Family. Philippine weddings include her family, abroad, yours. 3. Legalities. Philippines has simpler marriage laws, but visas for abroad are tougher. 4. Culture. Philippines feels like a fiesta, abroad feels
Marry. The Philippines offers affordability and cultural richness, but bureaucracy and guest travel can be tricky. Your home country gives familiarity and legal ease, but costs and visas are steep. There's no perfect answer. It depends on your priorities. This choice is about more than a day. It's about building a life together. Choose what feels right for your love story. What's best for you? But here's the twist that changed everything. You don't need to decide now. You just need to prepare now. Because whether your love story becomes a fairy tale or a cautionary tale depends on what you do before you say, I do. Don't let love blind you to the reality.